You know, have you ever looked at a piece of seaweed just kind of drifting in the water and thought, is there something more going on there? Well, today, we're taking a trip to the beautiful waters of Australia to uncover the secrets of one of the ocean's most mysterious and frankly stunning creatures.
So, take a really close look at your screen. At first glance, it just looks like a bit of kelp, right? Gently swaying with the current. But what if I told you that you're actually looking at a living, breathing animal, a true master of disguise? And there it is, hiding right there in plain sight. This incredible creature just blends in so perfectly with everything around it that it's almost impossible to spot. It is an absolute artist when it comes to camouflage.
So let's properly say hello to the Leafy Seadragon. People lovingly call them Leafies, and they're actually the official marine emblem of South Australia. And just so we're all clear, a male is, well, he's just called a male. A female is a female, and the little ones are called hatchlings. Now we're about to find out what makes them so incredibly special.
Okay, so how on earth does it pull off such an amazing vanishing act? It really all comes down to its one-of-a-kind anatomy and some pretty special features. Let's dive in and break down the secrets of its leafy armor.
So the official scientific name is Phygidorus equus. The leafy sea dragon is a relative of the seahorse and the pipefish, but as you can probably guess, it's most famous for its absolutely spectacular and elaborate camouflage.
When you look closer, the details are just incredible. Unlike most fish, its body isn't covered in scales, but in hard, bony plates that act like a suit of armor. And for extra defense, it's got these long, sharp spines running right down its sides. What's even crazier is that its color isn't fixed. It can actually shift from a greenish-brown to yellow depending on what it eats or where it lives, just to perfect its disguise. And to top it all off, its eyes can move independently. Yep, it can look in two different directions at the same time. Talk about multitasking.
Now, you'd think that all those gorgeous leaf-shaped bits and pieces are what it uses to swim through the water, right? I mean, that makes sense. Well, here's a shocker for you. They have absolutely nothing to do with movement.
Turns out those beautiful leaves are purely for show. For camouflage, that is. When it comes to actually swimming, the sea dragon uses these tiny, delicate little fins on its neck and back. They're almost completely transparent, and they just sort of flutter gently to push it through the water, which really completes that whole illusion of a piece of floating seaweed.
So if you've got a disguise this good, what do you actually do all day? Well, let's find out how this super slow-moving creature spends its time.
68. That number, 68, is the maximum number of hours a leafy sea dragon was seen staying in the exact same spot. That's almost 3 whole days. They are incredibly still, just relying on their amazing camouflage to let the world and, their dinner just drift on by.
Okay, get ready for another mind-blowing fact. Leafy sea dragons have no teeth and no stomach. None. Which means they can't chew their food or even store it for later. So, how in the world do they eat?
Well, they are expert hunters of really tiny prey. They use that long pipe-like snout of theirs to just suck up small crustaceans like macid shrimp, zooplankton, and little larval fish, swallowing them whole. And because they don't have a stomach, they have to eat almost constantly to get the energy they need to survive.
And if you want to see one of these amazing creatures, where do you have to go? Well, there's only one place on the entire planet, the calm, cool waters off the southern and western coasts of Australia. They live right there among the seagrass and seaweed beds that they imitate so perfectly.
Okay, but now we get to what is, honestly, the most remarkable part of the leafy sea dragon's story. It's a truly astonishing role reversal when it comes to having a family.
In the animal kingdom, it's usually the mom who takes care of the eggs. But in the sea dragon world, things are done a little bit differently. So, any guesses on who takes on the huge job of looking after the next generation?
It's the dad. That's right, the father does all the work. It all starts with this beautiful courtship dance where the male and female mirror each other's movements perfectly. Then the female transfers up to 250 bright pink eggs to the male. The eggs are actually fertilized as she deposits them, and from that moment on, the male's job begins. He's the one who carries and protects those eggs for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Now here's a really key difference from his seahorse cousins. The male leafy sea dragon doesn't have a pouch. Instead, he carries the eggs on a special brood patch right on the underside of his tail. This patch is a spongy area of tissue that's filled with these tiny little cups, and each cup holds a single egg. It's also packed with blood vessels to supply oxygen to every single one. How cool is that?
And all of this brings us to the grand finale of our story. The arrival of the next generation of these absolutely incredible little creatures.
20 millimeters. That's it. That's about the average size of a newborn Leafy Seadragon. They're just perfect miniature versions of their parents, and they pop out fully formed right from the eggs on their father's tail.
And they have to grow up fast. I mean, from the second they hatch, these tiny sea dragons are completely on their own. For the first couple of days, they survive on an attached yolk sac, and then it's time to start hunting for tiny zooplankton all by themselves.
Seeing a diver right next to a leafy sea dragon really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? It just shows you how intricate, how incredibly delicate these creatures are. They are so perfectly suited to their own little underwater world. Just a true spectacle.
And I'll leave you with one final amazing fact. Leafy sea dragons seem to have an incredible internal compass. Even though they're slow swimmers, they've been observed traveling hundreds of meters away from their home only to return to the exact same spot. They're not just masters of disguise, they're expert navigators too. It really makes you wonder, what other secrets are these enchanting creatures hiding down there in the seaweed?